Coker.
All I can say is, wow, there was some amazing fights tonight. I think that the fans were entertained. I think on TV we should have some big ratings, and I think we have an announcement that about a rebroadcast tomorrow. John, want to talk about that?
Yeah, well, first of all, let me just say thank you, Scott Coker, for putting on an amazing night of fights. That was incredible. Every fight was a finish. I think everybody, we had a packed house tonight, so congratulations to the whole team who put that together. We were proud to be a part of it. Yes, we'll be having a re-air of tonight's main event from 9 to 11 tomorrow night on Spike TV. And I think there's an immediate re-air tonight as well, but there's also a re-air tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. So,
okay.
So thank you.
Great. Thank you. And you know what? Tonight's fight would not have been possible if it wasn't for the hard work of our friends, Jesse Finney, Rob Donaker. They're there in the back. Thank you very much. This has been a lot of work. I know they've been working so hard. I really appreciate you guys. You know, we've been friends for a long time, and I said, look, when I get back into the business one day, we're going to come back to St. Louis, because I know this is an amazing fight town, amazing sports town. We love it here, and we'll definitely be back before the end of the year. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. So normally I'm up here and we're talking about, yeah, we had some technical fights and we had some, you know, exciting fights, but tonight was just, you know, some explosive action. That's probably the best word I could use to describe it. And I think that the show delivered, and, you know, the expectations, you know, to me, were pretty high, and I think we delivered on a big way. And it was a lot of work on a lot of people's part, so thank you to everybody. And I think at this point we have some great fighters up here, and let's just open it up for questions.
Actually, I'm sorry, I want to start with you, Scott, if I can. Was this pretty much the best case scenario? Was this a scenario that you imagined when you put this fight card together, how it ended up playing out, the back and forth main event?
Yeah, you know what, really, it's you know, this is a martial arts competition at the highest level, and you saw some of the best fighters in the world. You saw some fighters making their comeback. You saw some legends, and I would say that it was entertaining, and at the end of the day, it was something that I would love to come to an event like this and you know, just come watch it. And we had a lot of ups and downs and back and forth, and you know, it was just really entertaining, so we're extremely happy.
Can you talk about the choice to have Ken's, I guess, tag team partner walk out with him? Was that was that something that he pitched to you and at the last minute, or was this planned all along?
No, you know what? That was something that was important to him, and he said to me, I want my family there, because you don't know if this was going to be his last fight or not. I want my family there, and I want Animal to walk me out, because I guess they were friends in their WWE days, or WWE. So they're buddies, and they used to wrestle together. And he lives here in St. Louis, so we arranged all that for him, and he wanted to have the gospel singer come out. So we said, Ken, whatever you want to happen, we'll make it happen.
And what's Kimbo's future with Bellator right now?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, he's back. I mean, this guy can hit extremely hard, and you saw some of his new techniques. I mean, he fought that rear naked choke off and stood up and did what, you know, did what he was supposed to do and to win the fight. And we all said, look, if he went to the ground, you know, and Ken could keep him down there, then this might be his night. But Kimbo was able to fight off the choke, stand up, and, you know, he throws bombs. This guy is a heavy puncher. So that's how the fight ended.
A question for Scott Coker. This was like not Strikeforce. I mean, it was a little bit, but then when you get to the main event, this is a totally different beast. Would you say that this kind of show is more in keeping with your kind of creative vision than what I think fans might be accustomed to and what they got with the Strikeforce product?
I mean, you know, I think Strikeforce was just like this. It was something for everybody, and you know, we've had some great nights in the past of promoting, and I love it. I've done it for a long time, but you know, this was an entertaining night of fights, and honestly, I haven't felt that much electricity in the room for a fight. The whole crowd was standing up, you know, and I don't remember a fight ever where I was standing there, even in Strikeforce, looking back and going, man, everybody's standing up. You know, they were so pumped up that they couldn't sit down. So, you know, I think that the fighters, you know, all delivered. They're fantastic athletes, and we have some of the best fighters in the world. Could fight at any level, in any league. Believe me, I've been around this game for a while, and there's tremendous talent here.
And a question for Mike Chandler. Mike down here. This was sort of a rebound performance for you. Did you get out of it what you were looking for? You had a pretty visible sigh of relief when it was all over.
Yeah, I think so. I put a lot of hard work into kind of building myself, making this sport not as, you know, making it easier than it has been in the past. You know, my last couple of performances, I wasn't focused on the right things. I was focused on the right things outside the cage, just not in the cage. I want to make this sport as easy as possible, and that's you know, just being fast, sharp, basic. Use my wrestling, use my submissions. So yeah, it was definitely a sigh of relief. And you know, whether you win, whether you lose, it's always a crazy adrenaline dump at the end. So I think that's where that visible sigh of relief came from. But it was definitely good to fight here in St. Louis and go out there and get the finish in front of the home crowd.
First question is for Scott Coker. Wanted to know if you can give us an update on Ken Shamrock. Was he taken to the hospital after the fight?
I'm not sure. Is Des here? He was? Okay, so it was. I'm sure it was for precautionary measures.
Okay. And
Okay, stitches.
what's his future going to be after this fight with Bellator?
Well, I mean, you know, Ken will have to really look at, you know, what he wants to do. But you know, he made it very clear to me early on that you know, this could be his last fight. But that's something he's going to have to determine as, you know, as a martial artist and as a man at this point in his career.
All right. And my next question is for Daniel Weichel. It looked like you were very close to getting the finish at the end of the first round, and obviously Pitbull made that comeback in the second round. But what were your thoughts at the end of the first round? Did you think the fight was being stopped?
Yes, I think if the fight would have continued a couple more seconds, the fight would be over. And then I tried to continue the pressure in the second round, and yeah, didn't see the left hook coming. That was it.
Michael, you know, you won in the first round there after having a couple, you know, go to finishes. How important was it for you to come out and finish the fight early and not let it go, you know, the full 3 rounds to a decision?
You know, I mean, that's when I got into this sport. That's what I wanted to do. I'm not in this sport to tiptoe around, take easy fights, or be a point fighter. I want to go out and I want to dominate. I want to finish fights. And you know, it's shown in the past. You know, you leave it to the hands of the judges, and bad things happen. Even if people think you win, even if you thought you won, even if the vast majority of people think you win, you lose and you lose, and you got to pick yourself up and you got to keep going. So. It's always it's my job, and it's my identity in this sport as a guy who wants to go out there and finish fights. So I knew Derek Campos was a tough guy. I mean, I hit him with the right hand, and my right hand is still hurting from it. And he was rocked, and he had that look in his eyes, and I was raining punches down on him. And I knew I was going to have to put him in a situation where there was no escape to finish the fight, and that's what luckily ended up happening, because he's a tough guy. So I'm just blessed to get the finish.
Question for Daniel Strauss. To what extent had you prepared for Corrales by looking at any tape on him?
I mean, I watched a little tape, but not much tape. There wasn't a whole lot of tape on him. But just watching what he does, you can kind of fill him out, whatever. But he's a tough dude, you know. When you come in here to fight, you know, you can always say you have a game plan, you know, you can work. But when that door shuts, you know, it's all mental and what you've worked on, what I've worked on with my coaches and my camps, you know, that's what really helped me.
You seemed really amped up when commentator Jimmy Smith asked you about what was next. Do we detect a chip on your shoulder about something, or was it just the heat of the moment?
Man, I don't have no chip. I just want this belt. I mean, I want what every last man is up here for. What he's up here for, what these men is up here for. We fighting to win. We fighting to get gold. You know, I don't have no chip, I don't have any hatred in my heart for any of these guys. But they have something that Pitbull has something I want. Flat out. I respect the guy, you know, but he has gold. I want gold. That's plain and simple.
Question for Bobby Lashley. Bobby, you know, you did not get the original opponent that you wanted, but you were able to pull off a nice, decisive victory over Dan Charles tonight. Did you feel at any moment with those initial leg kicks that he threw to you that you could have been in some trouble with the stand-up with him, or was the game plan from the get-go to get him down to the mat and work your stuff?
No, I didn't feel like I was in trouble or there was any kind of danger there. I think at the beginning, I just needed to open up and move around a little bit more. I didn't really have a game plan so much for him because I didn't know what he was going to do. Since it was a different opponent, we just went out there to fight. And knew he was going to be a little faster than Thompson, knew he was going to throw different punches. He was a little smaller, quicker, so we didn't have a game plan. So we're just going to go out there and see what happened and taking him down. Once we took him down the first time, I knew that I can keep him down and punish him down there. So that's all.
Kimbo, I was wondering what it was like getting back in the cage for you, what it was like going through that adversity, almost getting choked by Ken. Did you feel like you exercised that ghost? You said you wanted to kill that ghost. Did you do that tonight?
Yeah, I felt like a chapter has been closed. I can put that book on the shelf now and move forward to the next.
So what's your future with Bellator, you think?
It's up to my managers and Scott. We'll sit down and we'll go over things again and see what happens.
But you want to keep fighting?
Definitely.
How close were you to tapping out or losing consciousness?
I'm not tapping out, man. I mean, he would have to put me to sleep, you know.
Pitbull, we've heard Daniel Strauss say that you have what he wants, what everybody wants in Bellator. Is that the next fight for you, or do you have another opponent, or have they lined up another opponent?
It's not over until the fat lady sings, you know. If Daniel want my belt, I'm him. Come and get it. I'm ready for you.
All right, Daniel, do you want that fight right away, or how soon do you want to take it?
The fuck you think?
All right, Mr. Coker, are you making that fight then? Can we make that fight tonight?
You know what? Listen, I'm not gonna have a comment on that. We'll have to get back to you guys.
Fair enough.
Bobby Lashley, you're undefeated in Bellator. Great performance tonight. Anyone you'd like to fight next?
I think there's still that unfinished business with Thompson. Hopefully he can get healed and get back here. But if not Thompson, there's a lot of heavyweights in here. There's some great fights coming next week. Going to look at those, and then we're going to see what Boss Man wants us to do. So I don't really call anybody out, just kind of wait for the fights to come.
Questions?
I got him.
Questions for Michael Chandler. Michael, could you let us all know how you were feeling emotionally when you came out and you had the crowd behind you, and how that kind of possibly fueled you to your victory? And did you hear the MIZ being yelled in the background?
I did hear the MIZ, man. This was definitely one of the top experiences of my life. Almost to the fact, or almost to the point to where I was in the back and almost covering my ears a little bit, as to not soak up the magnitude of what this means to me as a fighter, as a person. You know, I've walked these halls a bunch of times. I wrestled in this arena. I fought in this arena in Strikeforce under Scott Coker years ago. The amount of support and love that I have here in Missouri is just amazing. So, you know, making that walk was awesome, and the production value of this event was amazing. I can't wait to see it on TV. I guarantee it looks just as awesome on TV as it did in the stands. And you know, it's one of those things where, you know, every interview I did, they talked about pressure. Every interview I did, they talked about your back being up against the wall, or are you okay? You know, have you thought about retirement? And at the end of the day, it's we all go through ups and downs, and there hasn't. I'd be lying if I was sitting here and saying there wasn't down times and I didn't shed a tear or two and have negative thoughts every now and then. But you know, you just got to pick yourself back up, and that's what I wanted to prove tonight. And Derek Campos is a very tough competitor, and I was excited to go out there and compete against him. And I'm very blessed to have fought in front of this St. Louis crowd. And Scott Coker is right. This is an amazing place to throw a fight. People in Missouri and here in the Midwest, they know what good fights are. They're an educated crowd. So it was an amazing event. And I think we definitely need to come back to St. Louis ASAP, and I want to be on the card.
So Pitbull, you were pretty upset before the fight about being the co-main event. You said you wanted to talk to Scott Coker. Did you have a chance to do that?
Eu acho que é muita emoção aqui, mas como eu sou o campeão da organização, eu gostaria que fosse respeitado como tal. Mas eu entendo a posição do Bellator e sei que nós precisamos atrair olhares para cá. E eu sei que hoje eu fui visto.
Yeah, it was a bit emotional, but I understand the stance that Bellator took to get eyes on this event, and I know there was a lot of eyes on this event. It attracted a lot of people.
Did you watch the main event?
Yes.
And Scott, where do you stand? I mean, do you want to have a sit down and have a conversation with him, smooth things out? You know, where do you see things?
He's very happy over here. He's got his pizza going over here, and you know but I mean honestly, listen, the main event was, you know, a fight that was in the making for many years. Pitbull is an amazing champion. I really got to know him once I came into the league about a year ago, and this guy has always delivered and always come back and always found a way to win. And he's going to be a tough champion, and he's going to be a guy that's going to be hard to beat. You know, so we're proud to have him as our champion, and there's going to be, I believe, a lot of eyeballs on this. And you know, he was a co-main event, and all eyes are going to be on him right before the fight with Kimbo and Ken. So it's a good opportunity for everybody.
One more here for Scott Coker. Scott, if I can. To what extent do the fighters have creative input on those walkouts? And I ask in particular because Kimbo's had some of his old YouTube fights on there, which I thought was kind of an interesting twist that I wasn't expecting. So to what extent do they have a hand in saying, I want to see this, or this would be better for me?
Well, you know what? We sat down with Scott Fishman, who is our producer, and you know, we talked about, you know, the entrances and what different visuals would mean to some of these people. But I love that show tonight. It was amazing. It was probably the best Bellator event I've been to, and the production value was just unlike anything I've ever seen before. So we're very happy with that.
Michael, David Rickles told me last week he had a quote-unquote evil plan. He wanted you to win tonight in St. Louis. He wants to beat John Alessio next week, and then he wants the two of you to rematch. What are your thoughts on that, taking a second fight with him?
An evil plan, huh?
That's what he called it. He said it was evil.
Man, he's the caveman. He's a character. You know, hey, when I took that fight with David Rickles, he's not the kind of guy. I think that was probably the first time he's ever been knocked out. Other than that, he's been taken. He takes guys to the deep waters. He's a tough fighter. He always brings a show on the walkout and in the cage. You know, so I mean, yeah, we'll see. I mean, if he gets through John Alessio, we'll see. I would think he might want to get that stain off of his record. But at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. All I do is wait for that call, and I'm ready for it ASAP. Scott.
Okay. Noted.
Take one or two more.
This question is for Kimbo Slice. Kimbo, can you give us an idea of how the fans treated you once this fight was announced? It seemed like there was a lot of people who were excited to see you getting back inside of the cage and stuff. And can you kind of explain, did you shut yourself off from your fan base once you got ready for this fight, or were you able to engage and interact with your fans, and how did they treat you?
No, I keep it 100. I don't shut people off. I don't know who would do some bullshit like that. But people is people, man. You know what I'm saying? They want to say what's up. They say what's up. The only thing I wouldn't do too much is, you know, being that focused, want to be focused, to smile and take pictures and all that. You know that's I got to keep a straight face, keep my mind right. Got to stay in focus. You know what I'm saying? But I don't mind shaking a hand or signing something, you know what I'm saying, or giving a conversation with anybody, you know, but being that close to the fight, yeah, you have a tendency to want to zone out and stay focused. I hope that answered your question. Yeah.
Sorry. Seth Petrozelli came up and he was yelling at you outside of the cage. Did you hear what he said?
No.
Okay. I think he was calling for a fight. Is any interest in that?
No.
Got it.
Yeah. Again, thank you for attending the fight and the post-fight press conference. Once again, I think we delivered a great show. This is one of our big tentpoles. This is our third tentpole, and we're gonna have some great fights next week. It's free on Spike, and that's gonna be the Congo Volkov fight. And then July 17th, we have the fight at the Mohegan Sun, and that's our best welterweights that we have on Bellator's roster, including Douglas Lima, our champion, fighting Kreshkov, Paul Daly be on the card, and so will Honeycutt. So we got some tremendous welterweights fighting. But I tell you, what I'm really looking forward to is going back to San Jose, where we've been promoting for many years, and where we built Strikeforce, the four-man tournament, Tito Ortiz fighting Liam McGarry, and now adding the Glory Kickboxing. It's going to be a great night of martial arts combat, and we'll see you guys all there. Thank you. Wherever you want to go, Will.